And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome. You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say. Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to Koi Place Tarot. My name is Koi, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. What we're looking at in this round of reads is going to be your career read for the month of December. Career, like the efforts that we put in, like the job or the occupation we may have, the projects we embark on, partnerships that we make. Career, like things that we want to invest ourselves into as we move into the future. So, as a preamble to the read, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times when it gets difficult, understand that we lay it all out on the table. And that means we talk about the good and the bad, rain and sunshine. Right, Gemini? I'm talking to somebody who's used to duality in that way. So follow along with me in your read, your career read for the month of December. And yeah, let's see what the cards say. We're going to start over here with your past orientation and move forward in time-based phases, okay? So starting with the past, show the cards that we need to see, please, for Gemini in their read. Interesting. But they didn't hit the table, so I cannot take. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Gemini in their read. Also very interesting, but I cannot take unless it hits the table. There we go. So, in the past, 10 of Cups, harmonious fulfillment. Right place, right person, right place, right time, all the time. And if it wasn't right for me. Why so? 7 of Cups. Okay, I like that. In what way? Ace of Wands. Okay, there we go. And maybe opportunity does strike. I like that for you, Gemini. A spirit fulfilled. We're in a get up and go kind of mode. Again, that was in your past. And 7 of Cups, the notion of possibility, harmonizing with basically, if I can read it bluntly, our purpose and our station in the universe. When you were there with this option or these many options, many paths that could have been presented to you, the fire may have burned as brightly as ever. I'm looking at Gemini who, with all these options ahead of them, could finally just look at themselves in appreciation and say, I did that. That was me. And not backing down and not trying to play humble. No point. Hey, I did it and I did it right. I like that for you. So in your present, show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Gemini in their read. Career read for Gemini. What of the here and now? That's a break. Could just be bad shuffling on my end. What are the cards we need to see, please, for Gemini in their read? Break again. Breaks one more time. I'm asking the question immediately. Very nice, but very not on the table. So what goes on in my side of the shuffling, Gemini, is that unless the card hits the table, I do not take. Now, I know other readers do it differently, but I like to see it fly out my hand. Because at that point, it's like, well, dang, there's nothing that Corey could have even done, right? So those cards that we need to see, please, down the middle in the present. Yeah, we'll stop right here. Wheel of Fortune. Okay, good. Things are bound to change with time. Law of entropy. How so? 6 of Cups. What I wanted for so long, what makes me, basically gets me up in the morning and reminds me why I do what I do. The notion of nostalgia or meaning and purpose. 4 of Cups. The apathy that was had thereafter. right? Now, we're having a duality of emotions here, Gemini, and if there's anybody who knows that, it's the twins. Why? Almost as if we're blaming, and I know this is very unintentional of you right now. I completely understand why. In the past, oh, this is such a good opportunity. I'm gonna take it. I'm just happy to be alive, right? That was the most joyous and stupendous you've ever felt. Now in the present, there's a grown apathy with your station, and even more so trying to remember why am I doing this? Why am I doing what I do? That is actually proving itself to change with time, right? The Wheel of Fortune coming out saying, no, this is still the right decision. It may not, give you all this immediate fire and triumph that the Ace of Wands did in the past. Doesn't mean that it is not worth it. That Wheel of Fortune, you're trying to encourage yourself to keep at it. Hopefully that things will change. The thing is, if we only apply it to the raw efficacy of labor, it's not going to change in the way that we thought. The Six of Cups is about remembering, hey, why am I doing this? Do I see value here? Is there a possibility of growth here? What am I getting rid of that actually reduces my dream, my intentionality, my hope, my purpose, right? When we start putting those things together, then it starts spinning more in our favor. But right now, there is a grown apathy over almost feeling like you made the bad choice, even though back here, you were the most enthralled to even make a choice, right? Don't be too hard on yourself, okay? So, moving towards the future, show the cards we need to see, please. Gemini in their read. What defines a future orientation for Gemini in their career read? That is a break. Define future orientation for Gemini in this read, please. Break. So, what's the nice way I can put this, Gemini? I don't think it's ungrateful to say that you may not want to be at a station anymore. I don't. I'm never someone who believes in, workers and laborers' rights and all that good stuff. I would never shame somebody to say, hey, even if I thought I was the best person for the job right then, it may not be the reality of what I'm living in right now. Cool. Get it. Totally understand you on that part. What I do question is the purpose of nostalgia is not simply to live in the past, right? It's to be able to garner excitement and emotional lessons from what did fulfill us, from what that experience had to teach us, right? And so in your past orientation, such good, such positivistic energy, what was that about? Because I think we're just applying nostalgia in a way of, I just wish I was, there again, rather than understanding why was it making you so enthralled to be there, right? Those are two different things. And I think that the way it's getting applied right now, it's kind of leading you off course rather than us asking the question of, no, I've done it before, maybe I can do it again, but I got to sit with myself through the tough things about what I'm disappointed in right now, right? That feeling from the past is not just a chasing sentiment or a fleeing sentiment. It is the idea that, no, it's still there in some way, shape, or form. I just got to find it. Where are the cards that we need to see, please? Future orientation for Gemini in this read. There we go. Page of Wands. Okay, a base level optimism. This little light of mine will still burn. And so it may not be exactly what it was, but I know what it can be. Maybe it could be that Ace of Wands again, right? But in the future, I have to maintain even the smallest hope that things can and will change in my favor with due diligence. Show us the cards that we need to see, please. Gemini in their career read, future orientation. And BT dubs, that's what it looks like when a card flies out. Just so that we have a visual difference. still breaking. Breaks one more time. I'll have to ask, how much do we believe in this, Gemini? How much do we genuinely want this? And even if we don't want it anymore, then what will we want besides that? Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Gemini in this reading. There you go. Two of Swords. Confusion upon what? Page of Swords. Well, I mean, little progress is still progress. So it's almost like the fire, intentionality, everything is starting to wane and diminish. The reason I'm saying that is because it's almost like we don't know how we got here. I'm saying this because you have the Page of Wands, the one that represents optimism and, the almost like little kid energy of enthrallment. And then the Page of Swords, the one who needs to learn, the one who wants to observe. Both of them very unskilled and unequipped to address big concepts, but at the very least, they know the base energy in its purest form. Now you have the Two of Swords. One truth and another clashing and crossing. This is what creates confusion. It's a messy feeling right now to acknowledge that we may not want to be there. The thing is, we're summarizing it as a failure of our own character rather than the cycles of life. And for what I'm seeing right now, Gemini, we don't like it, but that doesn't mean that we're talentless. We don't like it, but that doesn't mean that our work wasn't valuable. We don't like it, but hey, there are better and good days to come. But if we always summarize that as a complete failure of the self, then my question is, what are we looking back for? Right? Because that means that we're trying to gain nostalgia and a sense of longing and purpose from a reality we don't even want to live in. What then is the point? There's a lesson in nostalgia here. And maybe all this, the confusion that's happening right now, comes from the messiness of that feeling of, I thought I wanted this, now I don't. I thought this was great for me, now it's proving itself that it isn't. Maybe if we took a step back, I just want to throw this out there, that if we trust that things were meant to change in the way that they were with time, then eventually we might have come to this point anyways. But that doesn't mean that this is a total definition of our successes or our failures. It just says what it is sometimes. Underneath it all, Star, the card of Aquarius, to remain hope and light in your pathway. Ooh, yeah. I think all this is trying to guide you back home, right? All this is trying to guide you in a manner that, no, your disappointment, your dissatisfaction, even if it was the greatest opportunity with the most financial gain, X number of perks, you could name them on a list. If you're not happy, you're not happy. And so the hope here becomes that to where you're going is going to be exactly right for you. Even if it's altered, even if it doesn't make as much, even if it's more difficult, we're trying to understand that we had something that we really wanted and we ended up not wanting it at all. That doesn't mean that we won't want the next thing coming up. So, in between, past and present orientation. Seven of Pentacles, accepting a process that it is what it is. Okay, why so? Ace of Cups in the form of emotional fulfillment. Why is that drawing? Ace of Wands. Okay, again, at one point we were just so unbelievably enthusiastic and excited about what could come. Oh, I see. This is one of those situations where we thought an employment or a title would be the be-all, end-all of our happiness. Got it. That makes a lot more sense. Because I'm like, why are we banking all this and then saying we hate it? It's because we're trying to see what happiness feels like for us. But the thing is, we're letting that, allure, that prestige, that whatever you were fighting for to go get, and it opened up itself for you. And now that you got it, you're like, I hate it here. Because you were expecting that to fix an internal unhappiness. That's not how it works. If it was worth fighting for, if it was worth getting, then that's a standpoint that you have to take with it, right? Now, does that mean that, oh, I finally, like, for example, I finally got my PhD? Good. What do you still want from the world? Degrees only prove that you're smart. Cool. I get it. I totally agree as someone who's been through academia, maybe not to that level, but sometimes to that level of conversation, absolutely. What do you still want from the world? If we only wanted the title, well, when you got it, what came next? Right? It isn't just about having entitlements, having a proof or accolade. It's about still being able to look at the world and ask, what does Gemini want here? What do I want and deserve? Next, between the present and future, show the cards that we need to see, please, for Gemini in this reading. Between the here and now and the what will be, or what could be, depending on how it's taken. I mean, dang, okay. Yeah, I see that. Oh, that's so great. Okay, so tons of cards just flew out. Let's go through them one by one, and we're just gonna put them in a nice, neat little circle because I think they play off of each other. First, Knight of Cups. I am still showing my best to this. I'm giving my best, coming in. I'm smiling every day. I'm not trying to say it's a fake smile at all, Gemini. What I am saying is I'm trying to make the best of an opportunity that I have. May everything grow with time. The next, Six of Wands, the notion of victory. There are positive aspects to be had about my current station, even if I don't like it. And so, one of those things, the autonomy and freedom of the Nine of Pentacles, being able to have access to my own self, right? Being able to do some of the things I wanted to do. Four of Wands, a notion of security and home. I don't necessarily read the Four of Wands here as being like relationship oriented, mainly because we're not doing a relationship read. I see this as this may not be the absolute perfect thing I thought it would be, but I do have a sense of belonging here. And maybe that's what's creating the contradiction of how can something feel so good and yet simultaneously make me feel distant from it. I'm saying this because of the Eight of Cups. Intentionality to walk away. The dissatisfaction didn't change, it just doubled. Four of Cups to the Eight. Hierophant, the card of Taurus. The reason that it's playing out that way is because your spiritual calling, it's still nagging at you in some way, shape, or purpose. Where are we going? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Page of Cups. If we have the base level optimism, if we have that Page of Wands and that Page of Swords coming out at the end, this Page of Cups, what truly makes me happy about this, right? I'm on this team. I'm doing this research. I'm doing this work. Again, with that PhD metaphor, but take it as it applies, right? I'm doing all these things that I said should make me happy, internally knowing that they don't. So what really makes me happy about doing this? Because right now it just feels like I'm kind of meandering through the process when it shouldn't be that way because it's so actively involved. And I'm saying this lastly because of the Six of Swords. The intent to move on. It never left, it only transformed. And so underneath it all, the hope, that star to this Two of Cups over here in the underneath, yeah, I want to learn my lessons, but I got to find what makes me happy somewhere else. And you don't want to say it out loud. I get it. There's a lot of reluctance on the board because we took all that good energy and said, well, it should have been all this. And now it's not. We're kind of like blaming ourselves for that instead of saying maybe it happened that way for a purpose, but that doesn't mean I'm not purposeful. What am I doing here? And how do I make it better? Whew, okay. Define the major arcana strewn across the table for Gemini in the read. First, we look towards that Wheel of Fortune. What were we hoping was bound to change with time? That when time had its say so and we did the things that we're supposed to do, what would eventually change? We start here. Two of Pentacles. There we go. The notion of juggling, bouncing, will it, won't it, will it, won't it. Yeah, that's tiring after a while because it's not coming from a place of purpose anymore. Right? So maybe, I'm just going to throw this out there, Gemini, maybe the constant juggling efforts were to show you that this might not have been exactly what you thought it would be. And that's okay. That's okay. That doesn't make you ungrateful. It just means you experienced it to its fullest extent. That way you call that spade a spade. Now, there was one more. Hierophant, the card of Taurus. Why are we focusing on our own defined path and trying to do it by the book? Ace of Wands. That is our purpose. Here, there we go. This, what we were looking for back here, because part of us knows that the satisfaction that we have in the purpose, we have in the present, revolves around our purpose feeling diminished. We're doing busy work, we're doing effective work, but we're not doing the work that we want to, right? And thus, all the stuff coming out at the end of, well, I don't know why I'm here. We're calling ourselves ungrateful because we want greater, and greater does not align with where we are right now. On paper, it does. It seemed like you got the perfect opportunity to do exactly what you said you wanted to do. But if you're not doing it, you're not happy. That's just where it's at. Yeah. Ooh, great. I like that because it's a breakthrough, Gemini. We're trying to find purpose and meaning again with a title or an occupation that on paper, everything was fine, but in its effective reality, this ain't what I signed up for. Cool, got it. That makes total sense now. Resolution, reveal cards of resolution for Gemini to read. What is significant of the space of resolution for Gemini to read today? Seven of Wands, guarded, defensive, but even more so, again, these murky and messy feelings, can we sit with their true duality of, on paper, I should be happy and right for the job, and effectively, I need to leave, right? Can we sit with the murkiness of those feelings and not call ourselves ungrateful because of the reality that we see? Next, Queen of Pentacles, trying to make the best of what we got. Normally, it would be the maximization of profiteering and opportunities that are presented. But here, I just see this, you're trying to make the best of like a burnt plate of food. It's what we got here. And so the dissatisfaction coming in, that's going to be the key point that's going to drive you away. However, by the time you leave Gemini, I want you to sit with the fact of, okay, what made me so dissatisfied about something that on paper was so perfect? And until we sit with that, we're not going to be able to find what we need. Underneath it all, strength, the card of Leo. And I think that's just so interesting in your underneath, because for the hope, the far shot, the light that's lighting your pathway in a sea full of darkness, right? That star, we will have to find the strength of pursuit to find what we actually want, that Two of Cups, the thing that meets us back. So here's what I see in your read. Yeah, it didn't turn out how you wanted, but it turned out how it should. Believe it or not, in this very roundabout way, Gemini. What I want you to concern yourself with primarily is not the diminishing of, interest or, purpose here necessarily through the job or the occupation you signed up for or the project you lent your labor to, but rather the fact of this is only one factor of many. I still have a vast purpose outside of this. And if I'm not finding it here, I can create it elsewhere. Your dissatisfaction will lead you to better truths and better answers. That's why I have you in your read today, Gemini. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, the feelings aren't good right now. I can understand that totally. But also, if you aren't feeling like you're completely fulfilled and effective, then those feelings are also a truth. Ugly feelings have truths too. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.